Call the council meeting to order tonight. We have a quorum present. Tonight will be led in invocation by Council Member Bob Jameson. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd ask everyone at this time to please rise.
I would ask you to bow your head and pray to your God. Lord, may we find peace on this earth. May we find a path to peace and freedom for all our people. And bless the people who serve our country in the military, wherever they might be. Watch over this council and future councils. May they have the wisdom to understand what is best for Sioux Falls, and most of all, the courage to do it. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two proclamations tonight for our outgoing council members, and the first one that Kevin served 8 years and really has been very knowledgeable in city government and been a strong council member that really has led this. So we have a proclamation that reads, whereas Kevin Cavanaugh is a native of South Dakota, having grown up in the southeast South Dakota, graduating from Elk Point High School, whereas Kevin attended and graduated from the University of South Dakota, whereas Kevin ran a successful campaign and was elected to the Sioux Falls City Council in April of 2000, serving the citizens of Northeast District. Whereas Kevin was selected by his fellow city council members to serve as council chairman in 2001 to 2002. Whereas Kevin has served on a variety of boards and commissions, including the UDC and the Multicultural Center Board. He also serves on the Audit and Fiscal Committee of the City Council. Whereas Kevin was a strong advocate for neighborhood library services, resulting in the construction of the Oakview Branch Library in northeastern Sioux Falls in 2005. Whereas Kevin is employed by the Sioux Falls Federal Credit Union as Vice President of Marketing and is a charter member of the CUNA Marketing and Business Development Council. Whereas Kevin and his wife Barb are the parents of 2 children, Jeff and Tracy, and 2 grandchildren, Dylan and Julian. Now, therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim May 12, 2008 as Councilmember Kevin Cavanaugh Day in Sioux Falls, and congratulate and thank Kevin for his 8 years of service to the citizens of Sioux Falls, and in particular the Northeast District. The next member we'd asked to come down is Bob Jameson, who has been another stalwart on the City Council and has been a very valuable member of this City Council and really has done great things to the city. And I'd just like to read his proclamation. It reads, whereas Robert Bob Jameson graduated from Washington High School and received his Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration from USD, whereas Bob and his wife Shirley are the proud parents of 9 children and 24 grandchildren, whereas Bob proudly served his country as a member of the United States Air Force during the Korean War, whereas Bob served in the Air National Guard from 1947, retiring in 1985 as a colonel after 37 years of service, and still holds the South Dakota Air National Guard flying time record of 7,000 flying hours in a single-seat, single-engine jet fighter, where Bob has been an active community businessman, having owned Jameson Imports and Sports Car Center, a broker associate of Don Hastings Realtors, a partner in Arctic Ice, and is currently a partner in Arctic Land Investment, LLC. Whereas Bob was elected by the citizens of Sioux Falls to the City Commission as Commissioner of Streets and Public Libraries and later became Commissioner of Public Works. Whereas in 1995, Bob was elected under the new form of government as City Council member at large, serving 2 years. He was then elected in 2004 as council member for the Southwest District, whereas Bob and County Commissioners Carol Tweed led the effort to merge the Sioux Falls Public Library and Minnehaha County Rural Library Service, resulting in the formation of Siouxland Libraries in 1995. Whereas Bob has been an active community volunteer in his church, American Legion Post 15, and is a life member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, number 628. He was the past chairman of Veterans Memorial Park Advisory Board and belongs to many civic and military associations. Now, therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim May 12, 2008, as Council Member Robert Bob Jameson Day in Sioux Falls, and thank him for his 17 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Sioux Falls. Okay, we'll get started on tonight's agenda. We have, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz, second. Further comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Consent agenda has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Litz.
Litz, is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benega, seconded. We have to amend the hearing date just above 11. We have to amend that, set the hearing date for the second reading on item number 11 from 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. Do you want to make that motion?
I so move.
Okay, that
Knutson.
motion made. Who seconded it?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. So the motion is to change from 7 to 5 p.m. for item 11. All in favor of that motion to amend will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That motion has been approved 8-0. Now we're back to the regular motion. Any other motions? Seeing none. All in favor of approving the regular agenda as amended will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. The regular agenda has been approved 8-0 as amended. Now is the time we set aside a period of 5 minutes if anyone wants to address the council. And what we ask is you give your name and your address, and we have a little red item up here that we will notify you when the 5 minutes are up, so we can keep track of it for you. So we're just asking if you come up, give your name and address, and 5 minutes, and we'll try to give you the high sign we have it.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Betty Ann Owen. I'm an enrolled member of the Assistant Wahpeton Sioux Tribe of the Lake Traverse Indian Reservation, and I'm also president of the Dakota Territory Office of Civil Rights here in the Assistant, Watertown, and Sioux Falls areas. What I'm going to say in real quick isn't on the agenda for tonight, but my main concern is the Native American homeless population that was discussed at 4 o'clock this morning. And I think they said at 4 o'clock there was input with Brown and them. And I would like to ask Brown and the other one that was there that if we can have input from the 9 Indian reservations and also from the Native American population here in the Sioux Falls area in relation to only primarily the Native American that are homeless. Because in the papers it said that there was over $380-some thousand spent on 12 chronic homeless people. 11 were Native Americans. I think that number is staggering, and I'd like to see a breakdown of where all that money went, to see how much was spent on the Native American, and also to see whether or not these are really homeless Native Americans, because a lot of them do have family here in the Sioux Falls area, and I would like to have more working with Munson and the council on this to end the spending of that money, and also to get our people empowered into the workforce and off the streets. And that I don't believe there's no such thing as a homeless Indian, because this is our territorial, historical Indian lands and stuff. So that's all I have to say, and I'd like to be present at the other meetings concerning the
You're
Native
talking about
Americans.
the proposal we got for permanent housing for the homeless?
Yes, and I
that-
also feel that is another form of colonization that Russell Means talked about in the paper when he was discussing the presidential candidates here. It's another form of institutionalizing and colonizing our Native Americans, and I think with that, we need to really be careful in not violating their civil rights as Native Americans. So we'll be watching this closely.
Yeah, we're working that through the Housing Advisory Board with Vern is a member of that board, and so we're just looking at, and that would be what we call single resident occupancy for single individuals, and that's the one we're working on now, but go ahead, Vern.
Betty Ann, if you could give me your contacts, I'll make sure you know, and we can visit afterwards and get in touch with Hugh Grogan at the county to give you the details of that study. I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, I'll give you the contacts of our lawyers and our board members later on.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council for 5 minutes, we just ask for your name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilmen, and Councilwoman. My name is Sandy Jerstead. I live at 19 Riverview Heights and here in Sioux Falls. And I am here with just a few things on my mind. Number one, I know you're discussing the tax issue tonight, and I just want to throw this out. I sit on the Senate Taxation Committee. I've been trying to get the food tax dismissed for a while, so I'd like you to think about that as a city. And also about video lottery, I want you to hold fast in your position for the safety of our city. The governor would like to see more video lottery because that makes more money for his budget. But don't give in. We are within our rights here. But what I really want to talk to you about tonight, as you may suspect, is about bikes and biking and the bike trail and biking on our city streets, which is not very safe right now, because largely people aren't educated about when they see a bike on a street, they think that bike shouldn't be on the street, and oftentimes they'll go very close to the biker, I don't know, to scare the biker off the street. They will roll down their window or zip their window down and yell things at the bikers, and maybe things that aren't so nice, because they feel that bikers do not belong on the streets. But I think it's a couple of issues. One is health, and biking is great for health, except when you get hit by a car, which isn't so great. But the other thing is that with the gas situation as it is, as you know, many people bike to work, and we'd like to encourage that. Friday is Bike to Work Day. But our city streets are not really very safe for biking because of the motorist situation, and it really needs education. But if we could have the 5-foot white lines with the little bike symbol in it on our major thoroughfares, not just a few out streets here and there, but our major thoroughfares, Minnesota, Kiwanis, Louise, Western, and so on, that would help tremendously. It wouldn't cost much money. It'd be great. We'd be a biker-friendly city, which right now we're not. So that's one of my issues. Another one is a bike path, which is a jewel of Sioux Falls. It's just fabulous. It gives a great view of the city. It's beautiful. But I don't ride on the bike trails anymore, although I'd like to because they're in such bad shape. I met with the Parks and Rec 4 gentlemen this morning. We had a lovely visit. And they didn't realize that all those cracks and crevices, which they filled a few of them, I thought they were going to fill all of them. I was so happy, but they never did. Over 2/3 of the bike trail has cracks and crevices every 15 to 20 yards. And so if you're riding along, you're just jarred. And, for an old bugger like me, it's hard on the neck and the joints and everything, but it's hard for everybody, skaters, stroller pushers, the whole works. If we could get those crevices filled maybe every other year, I don't think it would cost much money, and it would make our bike trail 100 times better than it is right now. I think we need to be proud of our bike trail, but right now I can't be proud of it. They did talk about wonderful plans for the future and trails shooting off here and there, but their plans for the future, I'm going to be 90 years old by the time they would complete fixing up the bike trail, and I'd really like to see it done much more quickly. So I'm just going to plead with you on those issues tonight. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Sandy. Don, do you want to just tell a few things we're doing on that so that we're aware of where?
Don Kearney, Director of Parks and Rec. Yeah, Sandy and I and our staff had a good discussion about the bike trail conditions. At the end of that discussion, we were pretty familiar with what her areas of concern were on the west side of the bike trail. Every year we go in and do some trail maintenance with regard to crack sealing, and thanks to our cooperative effort we have with the Public Works Department, I think we're really going to be able to do a lot more resurfacing and reconstruction of existing trails with some new equipment that we have and the ability to use the street department crews to be able to do quite a bit of that resurfacing. The stuff that Sandy and I talked about, and I think her immediate concerns are just getting the cracks filled in those areas that are soon to be reconstructed, but as an interim effort, I believe that we can go out and take a look at those. She's actually invited me for a bike ride on Friday, and I took her up on that to take a look at her concerns. And so I really think we're going to be able to address the concerns she has, maybe not all in one year, but I think we can make quite a bit of ground, and then also really focus on what I would like to see as a total reconstruct of those facilities in cooperation with our Public Works Department, because really that is the longer-term answer to getting our trails in better condition. And so over the next 5 years in our CIP, I think you'll find that we've got a pretty good plan in place, but in the short term, we will work with Sandy and her folks to come up with a plan that will make the conditions better in the short term.
And we appreciate Sandy coming down and talking to us about it. And we also are working, at trying to get bike lanes, as she talks about, as Sandy talks about too. So all those are important because more and more people are using this transportation plus exercise. So thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. Any others that wish to address the council for a period of 5 minutes? Name and address. Not. I see no one coming forward at this time, so let's move to item number 5.
Item number 5 is deferred action, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by defining a full-service restaurant and revising conditional use standards for on-sale alcohol establishments. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening, Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This is an ordinance that would provide for amendments to our city zoning regulations. This is actually the third time that the City Council has discussed this item. And what I would like to do is quickly go through another summary of what has been proposed and also to talk about additional changes that we've looked at since the second reading that we had a week ago. We're going to put the amendments up on the screen so that people can see, and I'll walk through these with a quick analysis. Section 1 provides for a change to the definition of on-sale alcoholic beverage establishments by exempting a new land use definition of a full-service restaurant. So that the intent is that a full-service restaurant would be dealt with in terms of a land use approval separately from other on-sale alcoholic beverage establishments, including bars and casinos. Section 3 provides for the definition, the new definition of a full-service restaurant, which we have discussed at first and second reading. Section 5 provides for conditional use permit standards for a full-service restaurant that's not meeting the other requirements of more than 100 feet from a residential district. So this standard would be used when a full-service restaurant is proposed within 100 feet of a residential district. And the standards that we've identified that we would be looking at would be the menu, the hours of operation, the security management plan, the floor plan, and we had at one time proposed to include the video lottery spacing requirement, but we are now proposing to strike that from the final version of the ordinance. Section 6 would be the modified conditional use permit standards for on-sale alcoholic beverage establishments other than full-service restaurants. And in this case, we have proposed to add a new item 4, which is the video lottery placement requirement and the 2,000-foot spacing. And since we did present this to you at second reading, Gary Caldwell, City Attorney, has put together another amendment to this based on testimony that we heard last time, and that is after the June 1st, 2008, that we're adding additional language unless a valid application for a conditional use permit, including video lottery terminals, shall have been filed with the city prior to that date for an alcoholic beverage license authorized pursuant to SDCL 35-4-24, for which the applicant received notice of eligibility in 2008. And what this means is that we have one liquor license that's pending that would be protected under this proposed amendment. And if you have more questions, I'm sure Gary can explain that in more detail. Section 7, 8, and 9 provide for including a full-service restaurant within each of our 3 commercial zoning districts as a permitted special use, which means that as long as it's not within 100 feet of a residential use, it would be allowed. If it is within 100 feet of a residential use, then it would become a conditional use and would have to go through a public hearing process. And we did just discover today that in Section 8, there is an error in Section 15. It refers to Section 15.29.020, and that should be 1529.030. And that is the central business district portion of our ordinance. So that's a very quick overview of what's included in the ordinance. And again, as I've discussed at the previous 2 presentations, the original intent of bringing this forward was to allow for uses that meet the definition of full-service restaurants to have a different process for land use approval than bars and casinos.
Questions of Mike? Kevin?
Just want to clarify and make sure I understand. In Section 6, Item 4, the new language that was added at the end applies to one applicant only.
And if Gary could just comment on that. Gary Caldwell.
Mr. Mayor. Yes, we drafted that with the specific intent of dealing with one application which is already in process, thinking it appropriate not to change the rules for an applicant that's already in the system.
Further questions? Kermit?
Yes, we deferred this from last week because of concern about what Pierre thought about this ordinance. Could we get an update on what happened there?
They still aren't favorable to it.
Oh. Will they sue us?
I don't know. I think there's always that issue out there. I can't tell you what they would do, though. I don't know. Other questions? Others that wish to address the council on item, what was it, number 5? Item number 5. Others that wish to address the council on item number 5? Not. Okay, go ahead. Got to come forward.
Charlie Knight, 3066 West Donahue Drive, Sioux Falls. Yeah, we testified last week on this. I just didn't know whether I needed to do it again, but I think that just basically I'm a restaurant and just supporting the fact that we're being taken out of the category and getting a special designation as a restaurant. So I don't know if I have any questions.
Questions of Charlie? Others that wish to address the council on item number 5? See no one coming forward, so go ahead, come on up and give your name and address.
My name is Arlie Brindy. I still live at 4611 Southeastern here in Sioux Falls. I want to speak for a couple of minutes on this revised ordinance defining a full-service restaurants and attempting to block video lottery no matter what. You don't need the 2,000-foot rule. We have a mayor, we have you folks, who have gotten along just fine in 2008 and in 2007 and in 2006 with some common sense rules to live by that don't get us into a fight with peer. It doesn't really get us into a fight with anyone. Your three-pronged test will not create an undue concentration of similar uses. That requires us to use a little common sense rather than a yardstick to determine who gets to do something and who doesn't. 2,001 feet, fine. 1,990 feet, well, no, that's a little different. That doesn't make any sense. That puts form over substance. And we're bigger and better than that. Rule number 2. It is not an area where children could be expected to frequent, patronize, or recreate. We added the word unattended. I think we can figure out whether children are attended or unattended. I mean, that's a beautiful word, but it doesn't really accomplish anything. I mean, it's okay if I'm there with my 2 grandsons who are 17, and it's not okay if I'm not there with them. Number 3, is compatible with the characteristics of surrounding uses and not injurious to surrounding property. God gave us some common sense. So can we figure out what's an undue concentration? Yeah, we can. Can we figure out if there's unattended children wandering around being affected by alcohol and video lottery? Yeah, we can. We have rules about barricades and things like that. Number 3, is it compatible with characteristics of surrounding uses and not injurious to surrounding properties? Let's give ourselves some credit. Let's not put in a 2,000-foot rule that really isn't necessary, and it can cause problems for people who don't deserve problems, who are just trying to do business and sell food and alcohol and conduct video lottery that the state has approved. I think Lincoln and Minnehaha County voted like 60% to 40% for video lottery. They didn't say only if you keep it 2,000 feet apart. So let's talk about 1,800 feet might be good, it might not be good. Let's use these rules in our common sense, and let's not paint ourselves into a corner, into a fight, or doing something that we do not have to do. Thank you.
Questions of Arlie? Thank you very much. Others that wish to address the council on item number 5? Others that wish to address the council on item number 5? Seeing no one coming forward, is there council discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Although I'm not known for trying to protect anyone in the video lottery business or anyone trying to get there, I would like to make a motion nonetheless tonight for fairness, as far as process is concerned, to add the amendment that was proposed tonight to this good ordinance proposal.
Would you like to add the one that we had when?
Yes, that the person that is already in the system be allowed to continue his search for video lottery machines, as much as I hate them.
How about the other one we had to correct the...
Yes, and the number correction I'd like to make too, thank you.
So that's your motion to
yes,
amend?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, those are found in the third amended version of the ordinance. And if you wish also to correct the erroneous code site from 2 to 3. I think you could include that.
Okay, I would like to do that also. Thank
Let's
you.
get a motion to approve first.
Move for approval.
Kevin, move to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson, second. Now, we got the motion, so your motion.
Yes,
everybody
sorry, I was a little bit out of order.
understands Dee's motion is to amend those in there. Is there a second to her motion?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded her motion. Further discussions on that motion? If not, all in favor of that motion will vote aye. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. That motion has been approved 8-0. Now we're back to the regular motion as amended. Further discussion on the motion as amended. We've had it made. Any further discussion? Seeing, go ahead. Kermit.
Well, I guess I'm very concerned about this one section of the proposed ordinance, which is unnecessarily provocative, that we could have a lawsuit from the state of South Dakota. I don't know why we want to just step into this. All we would have to do is just eliminate this and just, vote on the rest of the proposed ordinance dealing with the restaurants. So I guess I'm not inclined to tempt the state of South Dakota here.
Okay, further, Dee.
And I would just like to say very respectfully that I'm not at all intimidated by a lawsuit against the state of South Dakota on this kind of a topic, and I think that it's probably past time for us to challenge the state of South Dakota on this topic.
Further comments? Kevin?
Well, I would echo Dee's comments about, not being kowtowed or intimidated by state government. The governor doesn't live here, with all due respect. He doesn't have to take his grandchildren to the local park and worry about a neon sign flashing next to it, barking out casino. I do believe it's important that we do stand up for our rights. Someone indicated that we've done just fine without this ordinance for all these years. The fact is, we've done fine because we've been enforcing this 2,000-foot rule for 7 years now. Nothing has changed other than the fact that we're moving it from the licensure portion of our ordinances to the land use portion of our ordinances where it should have been in the first place. I would urge your approval.
Further comments? Not. We've got a motion been made and seconded as amended. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion to approve as amended will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 6 has been approved. 6 yes, 2 no, as amended. We move to item 6.
Item 6 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a permanent utility easement in Lot 2 and Lot 27, Block 1, the Grand Prairie addition to the City of Sioux Falls in the south 1/2, south 1/4 of Section 14150, Lincoln County, South Dakota.
Good evening, Chad Heavey, Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. This utility easement is located in the Grand Prairie addition at 77th Street and Minnesota Avenue. This easement does not contain any utilities. In 2007, 81st Street was realigned and the right-of-way was vacated. This easement is associated with that vacated right-of-way and is no longer needed. Engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 6? Others that wish to address the council on item number 6? Is there a motion to approve item 6?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Litz seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 6 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh? Yes. Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present vote. Item 6 has been approved 8-0. Item 7.
Item 7 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a portion of the permanent sanitary sewer easement in Lot 2A, Penn March Estates Edition in Section 11150, Lincoln County.
This sanitary sewer easement is located on the south side of 57th Street between Minnesota Avenue and Heatherwood Circle. The sewer was installed in a different alignment than designed, and only a portion of this easement is needed. A new easement for the realigned pipeline has been granted and recorded. The Engineering Division is requesting that the portion of this easement that is not needed be released.
Questions of Chad on item number 7? Others that wish to address the council on item number 7? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve, Liz.
I second that.
Knutson
Knutson.
seconds. Further comments on the motion to approve item 7? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 7 has been approved 8-0. Item 8.
Item 8 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by revising boundaries for voting precincts.
Good evening. Council took action earlier this year to split these precincts at the request of the Lincoln County Auditor. This is simply just bringing it back and doing some adjustments in the legal descriptions in those revised precincts. Thank you.
Others that wish to address the council on item number 8? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson moves second.
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 8 has been approved 8-0. Item 9.
Item 9 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by increasing the sales tax from 0.92% to 1% of the gross receipts of all persons engaged in business within the jurisdiction of the city and county.
Before we start, what I'm going to do tonight on item number 9 is I'm going to take all of the proponents first. The proponents will go first, and after the proponents, then we'll take the opponents. So to keep it in some kind of sequence, that's the action. So go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. Just would like to recap the proposal that was placed in front of you last week, and then also move into the questions that were asked of us prior to open discussion. Again, this is a 3-part package that addresses the funding gap for the arterial street construction. The package has been the outcome of the Alternative Financing Committee that was formed in early 2007 that met twice a month to find an equitable cost share between the construction of the arterial streets with the excellent growth that the City of Sioux Falls has achieved. One of the things that is key is that the first step, which is listed there as the city level off second penny to a full cent, that will create an additional revenue stream of $4 million to this program. The next 2 steps will be to bring 2 new platting fees that the development community has agreed to pay, which will establish an additional revenue stream of $6 million to bring a new revenue source to this program of $10 million. Okay, a quick recap of previous CIPs, the current CIP that we're in, and the proposed draft CIP that is getting prepared and soon to come in front of you. Now, the actual CIP, and I think one of the things we want to stress here is that the blue, which is Public Works, there's always been an emphasis on infrastructure and the balancing of those capital funds to build the necessary infrastructure. In 2002 to 2006, Public Works, through engineering and streets, had 56% of the capital plan. Progressing forward, the 2003 to 2007 actual increased to 58. This current CIP that we are in, Public Works share is 63%, and the draft is currently for 2009 to the 2013 plan is at 65%. So we wanted to show you that obviously the CIP is a balance between building the quality of life pieces but also the infrastructure of the City of Sioux Falls, and that it's been a priority for a number of years that Public Works shares that the majority of those funds to build the infrastructure and maintain our streets. All right, now to address a question that was asked of Councilman Staggers last week. The question was, how many dollars in 2008 are programmed for streets in Sioux Falls? In 2008, we are currently started with managing a plan of $23.6 million. for streets. 3 months ago, $3.8 million was amended in to increase that total this year that we're managing of $27.4 million. That is the 53%. Now, the other side, even though you didn't ask for debt service, it actually breaks that out and shows that the total plan, which is above 62%, addresses the 53 and then also the 9%, which is the storm drainage bonds of $4.1 million. Next slide. All right, now to address another question that came up. What has been the unobligated fund balance in previous years? And Director of Finance, Gene Rohenhorst, will address that.
Gene Rohenhorst, Director of Finance. What we wanted to show was the amount of funds that have been left over during the last 5 years, 2003 to 2007. And you can see that number ranges between $4 million and $7 million. And in 2007, we were at 7.1 that we were long. And that's where part of the money that you appropriated just a couple of weeks ago came out of that. We'll go to the next one. Now, as far as whether there was a question was raised about our budget process and whether we were budgeting more or less than what was coming in actual. And you can see over a 5-year period of time, 2003 to 2007, we had a cumulative budget of $177.7 million. The actual number came in at $178 million. There's only $349,000 difference out of $178 million worth of sales tax that was collected. Next one. Any questions?
Questions of Gene? Kermit.
Yes. Gene, this year the city's spending $362 million. Do you have any figures on how much the city budget might be in 2009?
No, we've not gotten that far yet.
Do you think it might be around 360, 350, or?
I don't know because you had last year distorted by bonds.
Sure.
So, it'll probably be down some, but we have not gotten to that point yet that we have a number that we can talk about.
Okay. Thank you.
Further questions? Pat.
Gene, do you know what the working number in the draft right now for the 2009 total revenue for the CIP is? Last year we had projected it at $45,461,000.
The total number, I don't have a projected number with me.
Seems to me in the CIP meeting that I sat in on, it was some $47.5 million, but I don't have, would that be close?
2009, I'm sorry, 2009 is at $46.5 million.
And what is our 2000, that was what it was last year. What is our working draft of this year?
No, the 2009 estimated sales tax in 2008 dollars is $46.5 million. 2009 estimated sales tax in 2008 is $44.4 million. That's with the inflation factor being taken into account. When we reinflate that at 2009 dollars, it's an additional $2 million, so that comes to $46.4 million, just about $100,000 short of what we had last year in inflated dollars.
Other questions of Gene? None, thank you. Others that are proponents of item number 9? Proponents. Name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Todd Anowski, Government Affairs Director with the Home Builders Association. Alongside me tonight is Kyle Eberts, President of the Home Builders. Mr. Eberts will provide the official position of the Home Builders in regards to the second penny ordinance being considered before you tonight.
Our Home Builders Association has an interest in working with the city to develop long-term funding solutions to maintain and construct infrastructure improvements in Sioux Falls. Therefore, we have a direct interest in working with the city to find solutions to fund infrastructure if we want Sioux Falls to continue to grow. I'd like to just provide you with a few facts. In 2007, we had 889 single-family housing permits issued in Sioux Falls, which generated $87.3 million in local income. Additionally, $10.3 million in taxes and other revenue were generated for the city. The annual recurring impacts of building 889 single-family homes include $23.4 million in local income and $4.8 million in tax revenue. Building new homes also means new jobs. A total of 1,912 local jobs were provided by building 889 single-family units in Sioux Falls. The Home Builders Association believes that this package deal offers a long-term funding solution that will maintain and sustain our infrastructure without the need to increase future development fees on the entry-level new home buyer. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks for your position on the sales tax, but I also am concerned about those additional fees that are going to be placed on developers and most likely passed on in the cost of higher housing. What is the estimate for the increased cost in new housing here in Sioux Falls as a result of these new fees that are going to be imposed?
Thanks for the question. Anytime there's an increase in development fees, the cost of housing also increases to the potential new home buyer. And according to data from the National Association of Home Builders, for every $1,000 price increase in the cost of a new home, we see approximately 214 households being priced out of the market for a median new home. We've taken the position, though, that although this is a solution that increases the cost of housing, again, it was the best option that was presented before the Alternative Finance Committee and also the Infrastructure Review Advisory Board. The Alternative Finance Committee reviewed a number of different financing mechanisms. Those included anything from front-foot assessments to impact fees, special assessment districts, acreage fees, and some of those are included in this package deal. And again, the HBA and others in the development community have worked with the city through IRAB and Alternative Financing Committee for over a year now to try and come up with some solutions to address our infrastructure needs. And again, we feel this is a pretty good proposal for the council to consider.
You know, if I could just kind of follow up a little bit here. I mean, I've heard some different figures on how much this is going to cost homeowners when they buy a new house. And you mentioned that for every $1,000 increase in the housing cost, 214 households are not going to be able to buy. Are we going to have an increase on average of $1,000 per house here in Sioux Falls as a result of all these additional fees that are going to be imposed on developers and then passed on to the consumer?
Yeah. A few weeks ago, the home builders had sent out a chart of information on the status of development fees in Sioux Falls and whatnot. And, you know, there were some numbers in there. Let's see here. I think we were looking at 2008, especially if this whole package goes before the council and eventually gets approved. The total fees that the new home buyer would end up paying with all the different fees that the city has with it to encourage growth and whatnot, we've got about $9,500. Those are, again, from the home builder side. I know Public Works is working on those numbers, especially on the density units and how many lots are on a actual, how many houses are on an actual lot. But those are the numbers that we have, and we'd be happy to visit with you or any of the other council members, too, about those.
So just to clarify, your figure is $9,800?
Approximately $9,500 if this whole package gets proposed, and that includes also additional fees from the state as far as like the state excise tax and other individual fees too.
So I don't want to exaggerate this, but Are you saying that there's the possibility 1,800 households could not afford a new house in Sioux Falls because of this?
The figure that I used was 214 households every
Per
time.
thousand,
Per
yeah.
thousand, so in theory, yes, that...
1,800, okay.
Over the lawn course, yeah.
So that's going to really hurt growth in Sioux Falls, possibly.
It is, but again, we're looking to, hopefully the fees will be stabilized as a result of the package, and we won't have to increase additional housing costs on new home buyers.
Further questions? Bob Litz.
Todd, I know you guys have got the spring parade of homes going on. Does that hurt your numbers for folks coming down here and testifying tonight?
Yes, and there still is time to go out for the parade of homes. Last till 8:30. Just a little plug there, but yes, unfortunately, we would have liked to have a few more builders in the house here tonight, but we had over 100 houses on the spring parade of homes, and so that's where some of our most of our members are tonight.
Thanks, Todd.
Further questions? No, thank you guys very much. Other proponents? Proponents?
Good evening. I'm Craig Lloyd with Lloyd Companies at 1005 Tomar Road. I was one of the people that sat on the Alternative Financing Committee. Not as well as a lot of the others, but what we tried to do, and Mark Cotter and his group and Mike Cooper and their staff did an unbelievable job in getting a bunch of renegade developers together and to tell them that it's going to cost them more money to start developing their lots. The city needs more money for their infrastructure, and yes, it costs more money to develop today. One of the things that we did face is a lack of land to buy at an affordable price and to make the housing in this town affordable. Kermit asked some good questions about the cost of housing and where that's going in the future. It's perplexing when you've got to increase the price of a house $1,000 because of infrastructure. What's more perplexing is when you can't find the land to buy at an affordable rate and you can't get your sewer and water to it, and you are sitting there having to pay another inflated price for the cost of land and developing of that property. It's going to way outweigh the $1,000 that we're asking for the average cost of a new house in the city of Sioux Falls. Kind of goes back to the old saying, you pay me now or pay me later. Today is still going to be the cheapest day that we can pay for infrastructure in the city of Sioux Falls. I haven't seen it go on down. I've been in the business for 35 years, and I have yet to see it go backwards. It's always gone up, and it's not because of the city. It's just part of our economic development, especially with the cost of oil, asphalt oil, concrete, steel, all the commodities that we deal with on a daily basis. None of them are going down, and they're not going down, or they're not going up at a routine price. Mark Cotter and his group came up with a program to try to let us get ahead of development, get a process that we can figure out how to move the city forward. This is a development type deal, yes, at 2%. The people that are affected by the 2% is, we did $400 million of new construction in the city last year. Take 0.8% and $400 million, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that the developers that develop in this community to make it a better community for all people to live in are going to have to pay extra. Some of it, yeah, they can pass it on. A lot of it you're not going to be able to pass on. If hasn't nobody heard, we're in a recession. So some of these costs are going to be borne by the developer until the time comes around that we can get ahead of the program. Developers have also stepped up and said, okay, we understand the cost of getting the infrastructure out to the other parts of the city. We also will step up and take another part of, you haven't seen it yet on the 2%, but the development community is willing to step up and take a better part of that. We think as a development community, and I'm speaking for ourselves, and I am a member of the Home Builders Association, but is that we can strangle the city, strangle the growth of the development community, strangle any growth, and not do anything. You know, the other thing is you can consider, is if we don't have the development, we don't build $300 or $400 million worth of new construction a year, what's going to happen to the property taxes in this city? Do you think they're going to go down because we're not developing? No, they're going to go up because we still have a cost of doing business in the city. The reason we have low real estate taxes in the city is because we got good bona fide development going on that helps lower the taxes for everybody. So that 0.8 cents that everybody's complaining about is not anything compared to what it's going to cost you in property taxes. I don't care if they rent from me, they're still paying property taxes. I don't care if they rent from anybody, they're still paying property taxes. They buy a new house, they're paying property taxes. So the idea that it's going to be cheaper to be in the city of Sioux Falls because we don't pass this bill, I don't think is fair. Lastly, with the development community, we have a vision, and the vision is a better Sioux Falls. We can complain about potholes. That's not going to get fixed if we don't have a good infrastructure. We can't get rid of the highway systems or the heavy traffic on 41st Street, Louise Avenue, 12th Street, Minnesota Avenue. All that comes back to good development, good process to relieve some of the pressure on those roads. And that doesn't come because you don't do anything. It does because you try to build a better city. Thank you, and I hope you vote for the extra 0.8 cents.
Questions?
Yeah. Craig, I think everybody here on the council is very much interested in further growth and development in Sioux Falls. But when it comes to how we're going to finance this additional infrastructure, I think there's the erroneous assumption that we have to raise taxes and raise development fees, because the city of Sioux Falls, especially this year, is spending lots and lots of money, $362 million. We're not quite sure how much the budget's going to be for 2009 when the sales tax will go into effect. But I guess I would submit that the $10 million you need, if we had the will, if we had the determination, the city could get it out of its budget. And I was just wondering, wouldn't that be a lot better way to develop Sioux Falls rather than adding these taxes and fees?
In theory, Kermit, you're right. The problem is that, again, I've lived here for a long time, and we all have needs. Every one of the council people has different needs and different things they want to do. And I sat on that committee. You were nice enough to come and visit us a couple times and go through the process. I just didn't see that solution. And we asked the question. My friend Chuck Point probably asked it 100 times during these meetings because he's the last one that wants to raise anything. But the problem is I didn't see it. So, I mean, if you find it, great. I'm all in favor of it, but I just didn't see it. Thank you.
Further questions? Other proponents?
Good evening. Mike Hulk, 4505 South Vista Lane. I'm here tonight as the chair of the Government Affairs Committee for the Realtor Association of the Sioux Empire. And our Government Affairs Committee considered this matter, made a recommendation to the board, and I'm simply here tonight to advise you that after that consideration, the board of the Realtors Association has recommended that this council adopt the amendment and adopt the change to the tax. That's
questions, Mike? Thank you very much. Other proponents? Seeing no one else on the proponent side come up, we will move to the opponents. Opponents, name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Brachtel-Spauer, 2900 Poplar. And I'm just going to speak to this first part that's in the ordinance. I don't know anything about those fees. I mean, the thing you're voting on tonight is just about the sales tax, right? Okay. That's what I thought. And I want to, first of all, say I appreciate your service to the city, especially Councilors Jameson and Kavanaugh. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I appreciate your letting us come to talk about this. I was here a while ago about this, but it's been a while. And so I just want to, I don't remember what I said then, but I just want to mention that if this tax increase would raise about $4 million, I think it's reasonable to assume that $1 million or so of that would come from people who really don't have this money to spare, even though it may seem negligible to other people who do have money to spare. And so the question is, are there really people in Sioux Falls who don't have this money to spare? And so I just wanted to give a little evidence for that. We've always known we have a significant low-income population, and I was one of the people privileged to do some interviews at the Salvation Army Christmas Toy Town, and we went through actual expenses of the families, and there were people with just the most basic expenses who did not have the income to cover it, and there were many, many, many of them. And that was several months ago, and you know what's happened since then. And I talked to Major Bender at the Salvation Army today, and was happy to be privileged to report this to you, although it was not happy news. But the Major says that they are seeing lots of requests for utility assistance, for help with rents, for help with food, for help with gasoline. And they are close already. This is May 12th. They're already close to the end of their funding for utility assistance. And at Community Outreach, which does a lot of the utility and rent assistance, they ran out on May 8th already for this month. So those are people with no extra cash in their budget. And those are just the ones who've come for assistance. The food pantry is up 25% more referrals this month than a year ago this month. More, 25% more. So I really think it's very clear that there are people, significant numbers in the city who do not have the money to spare. And then Major Bender commented that it's not just the people who are coming there for assistance, but now she's starting to hear from middle class people who are quite strapped, and these sorts of expenses for gasoline and this sort of thing is cutting into their disposable income. And we know that sales tax is not on the gasoline for your car, but that eats up money that then is not available for the things that are taxed. And also we know that sales tax is on some very, very basic expenses. You've heard us talk about food a lot, but also your electric bill, your heating bill, your air conditioning bill, all the utilities except your water and sewer have sales tax on them. So the city is making the money from that. And I want to mention that I want to encourage you to find the money elsewhere for the needs. Perhaps people who are spending their stimulus package will be buying things in Sioux Falls and increasing the city funding that way by having sales tax on those items. And so I would really appreciate your coming up with some other way to find the funds other than increasing the most aggressive tax that we have. Thank you.
Questions, Kathy? Dee?
Yes, Kathy, first of all, thank you for your incredible dedication to the underprivileged in our community. I have said that to you before publicly and privately, and I really admire your efforts. A question for you is your $1 million figure that you mentioned earlier in your comments this evening. How did you arrive at that $1 million figure, please?
Oh, yeah. That is less mathematical than almost every figure I've ever given you, okay?
Okay.
Because we have, we just look at the amount of low income in the city. We know how many kids are free and reduced lunch, so we know those families are under certain income levels. We know that there are other people who are eligible by census data that don't, census income data that don't even apply for free and reduced lunch. And so we know there's a certain level of population. And we know what's happening with the prices. We saw them yesterday in the paper on eggs, milk, bread, et cetera. And so it's sort of putting together the amount of money you're expecting to raise from the tax, the situation of our population.
Thank you.
Educated guess.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have it more exact.
Other questions, Kathy? Not, thank you very much. Other opponents, name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Sister Carol Quinn. I work for the Volunteers of America. I live at 1700 St. Michael's Circle. My job with the Volunteers of America is to teach immigrant and refugee family English to the parents and to the younger children. So I'm in the homes of mostly now refugees, which means low-income people. People who are doing laundry at Sanford Health at night, or working in restaurants, or working, making the beds in the motels. So you're thinking $7, $8 an hour jobs. You're seeing 4, 5, 6, 7 children, growing children, children that need milk and rice and meat and eggs, all of which have gone up, as you and I know, so much even in the last few months. And we don't have to feed all those kids, and we have quite a bit of better paycheck as I look around the room than most of these people who will always be trapped in low income. I don't think that a state should charge any tax on food. I don't think any of the states that touch us, which is 6 other states right around us that touch us, have any sales tax on food. I could stand corrected, but I don't think so. Now, how are they getting off on this? I suppose there's a whole mathematical explanation of it, but anyway, it's something to think about. I mean, we're spending huge amounts of money, or proposing to, in the city of Sioux Falls, all of which I don't understand, and it's good that Sioux Falls is growing. But somehow, I think there may be a way to work around this. I hope so. Because if we start increasing now, we could be increasing again and again for other things. I mean, it's just a few pennies, a few of this. But if you have a very limited budget the way it is, I'm alarmed at how much Sunny Delight and Fruit Punch I'm seeing now, and pop. Oh, I mean, the price of pop is so much cheaper than a gallon of milk. Why not bring home the pop and satisfy the kids instead of milk, which is a huge amount of money now? So we need to encourage them to buy the good food, which costs a little money, and not to have to pay so much on sales tax. Thank you very much.
Questions? Thank you very much. Other opponents? Name and address, please.
I'm Pastor Erica Lehman. I live at 1869 South Sertoma Place. I live in the far west side of town, a place that is springing up like crazy out there. Even in the 2.5 years that I've lived there, there's been a tremendous amount of development. So I understand development is important. I'm glad that the places are out there. On the other hand, I just cannot see how we can continue to grow if that growth is partially on the backs of people who are already here and struggling to survive. As everything gets more expensive, there's more tax on those things as they inflate, and so in essence you're doubly inflating the prices by putting a higher level of sales tax on necessities as the prices go up. And then we become dependent on that higher level of taxes, and we expand our expectations of our budget at a higher level, and pretty soon it'll be like the $10 million couldn't we squeeze out of the budget before? Well, no, we couldn't do it then, so we won't be able to do it now, and we become dependent on an ever higher tax rate on people who can't really pay for what they need to survive. In my current situation, I can go buy whatever I want pretty much, and the sales tax is not going to make a difference as to whether I can afford it or not. But there was a time when I lived on a cash-only basis, and I could only buy what I could buy with that $20 bill in my hand. And if there wasn't enough there for me to buy the things that I felt I needed, they just didn't get bought. Nowadays, people often are buying on credit or finding ways to buy things that they really can't afford. And when that then gets paid, the price is increased because we have a higher level of tax, it's just drowning people. And even though you might say it's a small amount on top of an unpayable amount is just all that much worse.
Thanks, Erica. Questions of Erica? Thank you. Other opponents? Others? If not, seemed...
Scott Harrisman, 806 South 10th Avenue. I guess I don't want to play the pity card tonight. I know a lot of people have been coming up here talking about how people can't afford the tax, and I can afford it. I think my biggest problem with raising taxes in this community is that we've been continuing to grow and grow and grow. And the more people that come into this community, the more money and more revenue the city is getting. So I can't understand why we'd be raising taxes when we should be reducing taxes when we're getting more revenue into the city. The other thing I want to say is that a lot of us are tightening our belts even though we could afford this tax. I mean, I've started riding my bike to work. I've started eating out less. I've just noticed that everything is inflating so much that I'm tightening my belt too. And as a citizen of this community since 1991, I would think that the city would want to find a way to tighten their belt also and show an example. We subsidize a lot of things in this community that we could cut. $10 million, I mean, I could go through a laundry list of things in this city that we subsidize that we could cut easily and come up with $20 to $30 million easily that none of us would miss. I think it's time that this city showed some leadership and did some cutting and not raising taxes right now, especially during a recession. These past 8 years of this current administration is going to have a long-lasting effect. Doesn't matter who the next president is going to be. This recession is probably going to last throughout the summer into the next year. The next president is going to have a lot of work to do to fight it, and it is going to affect us. I see the news talk about a lot how it's not going to affect Sioux Falls and growth and everything, but it will affect us eventually. We are part of America. Gas is going to affect us. Food prices are going to affect us. Energy costs, everything. I think it's time to show some leadership and to show that we can cut some things out of the budget and push this city forward without raising taxes, period. I don't care if I have to pay more for milk. I'm just saying it's time to show some fiscal responsibility. I'm tired of every time we're short on something, the automatic thing is let's raise taxes, let's raise taxes. Retail taxes are very regressive, whether they're on food or anything. It's a horrible tax to raise. And it's time just to show that we can do it without continuing to raise the budgets continually. We can just take the state of South Dakota, for instance, and how much our governor has raised full-time employees. He's doubled them since he's been governor. Why? Has services gotten better? No. Simply not. Have city services gotten better since we've raised the budget in the city? No. I just don't understand. We just keep continuing to raise taxes, but we have nothing to show for it. And it's time to show some fiscal responsibility, and it's time to stop raising taxes, especially now during incredible inflation in this country.
Thank you. Questions? No, thank you very much. Other opponents? Name and address. I see no one that is coming forward at this time, so we're on item number 9.
I would like to make a motion to approve item number 9, please.
Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. The motion been made. If we're going to pass this, we need to amend that use tax into that.
Okay, and I would like to make an amendment to fix the use tax, add that to the proposal, please.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second, Jameson.
Okay. Got a motion made and second. Everybody understand that motion? We're just adding that. That's got to be added. It wasn't.
I have a question for Mark Cotter, if that's all right. Mark, can you give us any kind of indication on where we stand year-to-date on our construction projects, our street projects, how the bids have been coming in? I know we are, it seems like we were $1 million short or under budget on 85th Street, and we were another $1.5 million under budget on 57th Street. I might have those reversed, but just in general, how our bids have been coming in year to date?
We've been very fortunate to have very competitive bids. We have a number of projects that we start to bid early in the year, but we've also got some of our largest projects yet to bid. And so we did, one of the key ones right now that came in significantly under bid was 85th Street, a 2-mile project, and it came in under bid about $2 million. One of the things we've made the decision to do is that we were doing a portion of Western Avenue. We made the decision to extend that farther south to address another access point. And so now that number has been reduced to about 1.4. 26th Street from Sertoma to Berkshire, nearly Marion Road, came in about $400,000 under budget. One of the things we're doing is that we are still underfunded on the 5 projects that we identified to bid and build for development-driven streets. And so I can give you just a recap of what the need is. Right now, for us to fulfill the 5 development-driven streets that we've committed to this year, and we always typically overprogram this project, and then we start to bid, and we build as many as we can with the available dollars. And so our need is $9.5 million. We started out with $4.2 million. 3 months ago, 1.9 was amended in. The savings that we've seen from 85th Street, Western Heights water main projects, 26th Street, in general, those 3, that'll amend about another $1.8 million in. And so right now, if everything was to bid as the current estimates, we'd be short about $1.6 million. Now, our goal is to still maintain the same bidding climate that we've got and certainly fund all these projects. The other piece of the CIP that will make the commitment to build these streets is that we still have design plans for the last quarter of the year that we would move forward with for next year. And so there's design dollars that are available that we can also use to fund this shortage. And so be able to give you a very definitive number mid-July, because that truly is when the last large development-driven street is bid, which is 41st Street between Highway 11 and 6 Mile Road.
Thank you.
Kermit.
Yeah, Mark, this $4 million tax increase we're talking about will not go into effect until January 1st, 2009. So for argument's sake, let's suppose that this tax did not pass tonight. Could you be out there fighting hard for the 2009 budget to find the $4 million? Would you be doing that, or would you just kind of throw your hands up and...
I think what we would do, Councilman Staggers, like we always do, is that we strive to bring a balanced CIP forward, which, that graph earlier that showed the public works, parks, and other departments, we would still strive, because as we build arterial streets out there, we still have a school that's near that needs the necessary infrastructure. It's got the attached park, and so those park facilities need to be built. There is a number of those items as we start to see neighborhoods mature to make sure that we have the adequate fire protection, the fire stations get built, and it is a balanced plan that looks at 5 years, what areas are going to mature, and then what services are needed to be funded. And so it's not a matter of per se fighting for $4 million. It's a matter of balancing the CIP.
I guess I looked at it much differently, the CIP. There are certain projects that are just simply more important than other projects. They're not all equal. So I guess I don't view it, maybe I'm viewing it incorrectly, but I guess I don't view it as a balancing act. I view it as, hey, what are the #1 priorities in the city, and let's go do those first, and then the lower priority items then we eventually get to.
If I can just return one, I think one of the key things that we just recently seen in the citizen survey is that people certainly want good streets, but they also want the balanced quality of life aspects that come from reinvesting into existing facilities. I think one of the things you'll see when the capital plan full presentations come forward in coming months is that you'll see that about 85% of the dollars that goes to parks actually reinvest in existing parks.
Mark, over the last couple of weeks, we've heard a lot of talk about having a balanced CIP. Who's responsible for making sure it's balanced and determining the appropriate ratios?
Well, it starts from the Director of Finance, and there's then a capital CIP committee, and it is, there's significant amount of detail. You were in some of the meetings that we had, and, you know, every project is looked at from first the revenues are identified, and then we look at what our debt commitments are, then we look at what our equipment needs are, and then we certainly build it from there. But there's a significant amount of work done by all the departments to make sure that when we come in there and then we start looking at year by year what's needed, and that's when priorities are discussed and established.
So the administration does a lot of due diligence to determine their ratio or percentage of what they feel is a balanced budget, but would you consider that it's the City Council's job to ultimately determine the balance and what is an appropriate CIP budget?
Well, I think that, you know, it's just like everything we do, that we work together. We build the plans, and then the dollars get appropriated. And so there is, as every year's presentations go forward, you know, there's a great deal of discussion, but then at the end it's a cooperative plan, and the plans get appropriated accordingly.
I don't have any questions for Mark. I just have some comments. Are you ready for those yet or not?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we got the motion to amend the use tax, so we've got that motion been made and seconded. Let's take that motion and see where we're at. So all in favor of the motion to amend will vote yes, those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. That has been approved. So now we're back to the main motion as amended. So further discussion, go ahead.
I would just like to say again that this obviously is a very controversial issue for all of us, and I have great respect for the people who do not feel like I do on this topic. And I guess contrary to the speaker, the citizen with very good intentions who spoke before Mark Cotter, I would like to say actually I consider myself a very strong leader and very fiscally responsible. And I have only 24 months left to serve on the City Council. I have served 6 years now. We have talked about this issue off and on for the entire 6 years I've served on the council. And in the 24 months that I have left on this council, I am going to work every day to continue to try to move this great city forward. And the fact that we are now up to $81 million backlog in roads, and I've been sitting here for 6 years, is rather embarrassing. So I'll take some blame for that. Our city is growing so much. We have so many wonderful things going for us. And of course, I am very supportive of maintaining the roads that we have right now. There's just so much to say, but I don't think there is a perfect time to raise fees or raise taxes or restore taxes in this case. If there is a perfect time, I'd really like someone to help me figure out what that perfect time is, because like I said, I've been sitting here 6 years. I answer every email. If it's even in the middle of the night, I answer it. And no one has told me when is the perfect time to catch up on our infrastructure needs. And I guess I also would remind everyone that I think that we have a very broad-based sales tax in South Dakota. Again, I'm not a legislator. I didn't make the decision to tax food. That's out of my realm. But again, I'd like to remind everyone that a person who's much less blessed than I am would have to spend right around $10,000 on groceries, just groceries, to incur $8 additional sales tax on food. And I care a great deal about those people, more than most of you will ever know. I think it's also important to remember that we right now have 174 cities in South Dakota that have restored their sales tax to 2%. And I'm from a very small town, very, very proud of the town I'm from, actually. But it's pretty amazing that we are in the category with Canova, Crooks, Interior, and Mission on this topic. I'm frankly not proud of that. And I guess the other thing I would like to say is that besides the infrastructure needs, which are great, I mean, our survey, we just spent time and money, quite a bit of time and quite a bit of money surveying 3,000 plus citizens. And they told us they want us to do more for our roads, our existing roads and our backlog, which is, I don't think it's going to get cheaper to fix all of the, to do all those roads. I doubt it. I don't think if we, wait longer after I'm off council that it's going to get cheaper. But, besides roads, obviously I care lots about other issues that, like all the other councilors do. And I'm particularly, I'm really hopeful that we can find a way to successfully bid on that Army Navy Reserve building to start making more of a dent on our chronic homelessness problem in our city. Because way before I was on city council, even during the election when I was first running for city council, there's one article after another article after another article after another interview about homelessness. But, I haven't really appropriated, I haven't really been a part of appropriating much money to really help solve that. I just have kind of given that lip service overall. And I care about the floodplain situation too. And I'm just saying, there are all these great challenges ahead of us, but I don't know how we are going to meet them if we don't have more revenue. And sorry my talk got so long.
Further discussion? Got a motion before us that's been amended to approve item. Bob Jameson.
I'd just like to make a few comments. We've heard about everything there is to hear about the sales tax, but I'd like to remind people that we just had a survey that was completed less than 2 months ago. There were 4 items on that survey that were below the norm: street repair, street cleaning, storm drainage, and recycling. What we're talking about tonight is a package deal that will solve 3 of those issues, and I think we need to consider that. Some have argued that timing is not correct, and I would argue that now is the right time. We're in the budget process, we're in the CIP process, and we need to plan for that CIP for 2009 to 2013, and if we're going to do it, we need to know what the funds are going to be available to do that proper planning. This is a package deal. It's a package with the city coming up with some funds, the developers coming up with some funds. It's been recommended by everybody that's looked at it, basically. And we have to understand that who will pay this sales tax or these development fees? It's the end user. Everyone will pay some sales tax. The people who build a new home or a new building in a new addition will pay additional fees and the development costs. So they're sharing probably more than the person that's just paying sales tax. Everyone will pay some sales tax. And just finally, if we all pay a little more, the citizens of Sioux Falls will benefit with better roads, better planning for the future, better maintained roads, and we'll meet the needs of our growth in the future. And I think I would strongly encourage that you support this package, and that the new council, which I'll not be here, nor will Kevin Kavanaugh be here, that they would address the funding issue with the fees when they're building the budget and the CIP process in the next 6 months. I encourage you to support this issue. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to defer the vote until July 21st, and if I get a second, I'd like to address that.
Second, Costello. Okay, we got a motion to defer. The substitute. It's a substitute motion, right? You got a substitute motion to defer until July 21st. Okay, we got a motion been made and seconded. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Costello.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bert.
No, there is a time that we will need to do this, but tonight is not the night. We've heard plenty of public testimony about gas prices, grocery prices. Just last week, I learned when I was at the Homeless Advisory Board meeting that the shelves are bare at the food pantry. I have a hard time imagining a worse time to do it. So why July 21st? Well, there are several reasons. First of all, we'll get deeper into the budget process so we can see where we're at. Second, we just heard that we're seeing good bids on street projects, so it gives us more time to figure out if we're going to continue to see that trend through the summer. Third, it gives us time to educate and demonstrate whether there is a need for this or not. Sure, the developers understand what this is going to be. The City Council understands what this is about. But we've made virtually no effort to educate the public or show that there is a need for this. This gives us time to demonstrate that need if it exists. And finally, and I don't know that July 21st that the economy will be better, but it does give us the opportunity to wait and see if it does improve by that time. July 21st gives us the opportunity to still implement this by January. We shouldn't do this because of convenience of who's sitting on the council tonight. We need to do it based on the facts of the economy, based on the facts of whether we're getting good bids. We need more time to figure that out. So I would hope that we can pause and take that time to do it and do it correctly. Thank you.
Other comments on substitute motion? Go ahead.
Councilor Brown has stated that it's a matter of convenience to councilors, and that's not my perception at all. I think that this council has been very responsible in trying to address some very sticky issues before the new guys come on, because we felt it was our responsibility. It was not a matter of convenience. As a matter of fact, if I start counting noses on down the road, we may be in better shape than we are tonight for the vote. I don't know that either. This whole thing, I've been with it since the beginning. We've looked at it for 2 years, actually, with IRAB and the development community. And to me, this is about whether you believe in the future or not, whether you're going to be frozen in the moment with some fear, whether you believe that this recession is going to last for a long time. I don't. I don't think many people in this room do either. I've got an analogy. I belong to a certain Lutheran church not too far from here, and they decided to go ahead and build that church in the middle of a depression. And that church would not be where it's at today unless somebody had the initiative to move forward and had the courage and the foresight and the optimism. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? I think it's half full. I think it's more than half full, and I think we're going to progress on in this city. I think we've got a lot of big things that are coming up. We've got some more costs with Lewis and Clark. We've got an event center. We've probably got this levy thing coming up. We're going to need some more income, folks. I hate to tell you this, but if you think the money's in that budget, you're going to scrounge around, you're going to find out you're going to cut out some things that are very important to the composition of this community. If we destroy the very things that are important to this community, other than just the money for the infrastructure, if that's all we're going to look at here, folks, we're going to have concrete and no spirit with this community. I'm not in favor of putting this off. I think we've got to do the responsible thing and look at it tonight and grab this bull by the horns and go for it. That's all I got. Thanks.
Well, now I'm not sure if we're doing this for levees or roads or homeless shelters or what, but, I strongly support the plan that the alternative finance group came up with. We have to put more money towards our roads, and I'm committed to spending $10 million more on the roads. What I object to is finding the $4 million of the city funds through a sales tax increase 1 month before we crack into our CIP. I mean, how do we know until we go in there and look at what the sales forecasts are, what our priorities are going to be? We heard Craig Lloyd talk about the developers will absorb their share, some share of the fee themselves. Why shouldn't the city be the same? Why shouldn't we go back and look at our own budget? And why not give us the opportunity to do that? I will pledge that if we cannot find that money within our existing CIP, I will support it, a sales tax increase at some point in time. But I want the opportunity to look for the money before we raise taxes.
Okay, further comments? Bob.
Well, one of the things I think the public already knows what they want. Our survey showed that. it showed that they were happy with everything this city is doing except for 4 items. We were above the norm in every category except 4. I think that should tell us that we're probably funding most of our CIP and budget dollars in the right area. And the surveys told us that they would like to see better street repair, better street cleaning, better recycling, and better storm drainage. And to delay this, I think, would be an error. If what we've heard tonight and what we've heard for the past 5 to 7 years, this council is guilty of not providing enough funds for the streets and the improvements needed for the city of Sioux Falls today, tomorrow, and into the future. And if we're going to accept the responsibility that we haven't funded that correctly, then you can vote to delay it, but I would encourage you not to, because I think we owe it to the citizens of Sioux Falls to step up to the plate and say we have erred in the last few years, and it's time to address the situation. I would encourage you not to defer this vote.
Further comments on the substitute motion to defer? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a tough decision on whether to defer because, you know, there is some momentum right now to possibly kill this sales tax tonight. I mean, we don't know for sure because we have one council member that, at least I haven't heard lately how this person's going to vote, but there is the possibility we could kill this tonight, the sales tax increase. However, what would happen if we would defer this until July 21st? Well, there might be the momentum going in the other direction to pass the sales tax. Because Councilman Brown has said that, you know, we have to take a look at everything by July 21st. And maybe that we would pass the sales tax increase on July 21st. I don't want to do that. I want us to go with the momentum that we possibly have now and try to kill the sales tax right now.
Further comments on the substitute motion to defer until July 21st? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to defer to July 21st will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
No.
Litz?
No.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
No.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
No.
That motion has failed 5-3, so we're back to the main motion as amended to approve item number 9 as amended. Is there further discussions?
Well, as I indicated earlier, I hope that we have a good vote tonight to kill this tax, but I especially want to thank the people that came to testify today against increasing the sales tax. At our 4 o'clock meeting, we had Hugh Grogan, who's in charge of welfare for Minnehaha County, telling us about the plight of some of the homeless here in Sioux Falls and how things are getting worse for them as this economy continues to soften. Thank you to Kathy, Sister Carol, Erica, also for talking on a more personal basis as to what's really happening to some citizens out there that many times we don't really see here on the City Council. Citizens that are really concerned about every dime that they spend. Last week, I happened to meet one of those citizens over on Alpine Avenue. Now, Alpine Avenue is a rather middle-class neighborhood. It's a very nice neighborhood. But in this one home, there was an individual who had physical disabilities, and she expressed great concern about this tax being increased. She was hoping that the City Council would not do this because there, once again, are people out there that are suffering that we don't even know about. And also let me thank Scott, too, for also giving his presentation here and talking about the city setting a good example. And I think we should set a good example tonight here. You know, in a softening economy, the citizens are tightening their belts. Hey, we have to set a good example for the rest of the citizens. We're going to try to not increase taxes. So I would encourage my fellow council members here to vote against this tax increase, and also for everybody to remember what this $4 million is really all about. Who's going to be spending the $4 million? Is it going to be the city of Sioux Falls, or is it going to be the citizens of Sioux Falls as a whole spending $4 million?
Other comments on the motion to approve as amended?
This might have been asked already, but Mark, can you tell me when the last date is that we could pass a sales tax increase and still meet the January 1st deadline by the state?
Excuse me. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. Just taking a look at the council's schedule, essentially October, November, and December are the 90-day advance notice that the Department of Revenue needs. And then as we look back, I think that the date that we should be looking at is that the current budget schedule has us adopting the capital plan on August 4th. And that is, adopting the capital plan is a resolution, so that is a one reading. However, leveling off second penny is a two reading situation, and so ordinance. And so then looking back off August, and as the deferral started, which was on the July 21st, that could be first reading. August 4th could be second reading. You'd certainly meet the current capital budget time frame, but then you'd also meet the current advanced warning. And so I think you have some latitude basically in July, or now with the current charter revision that doesn't hold you to the August 15th time frame to have the capital budget in place. It now runs in line with the operating budget, and so both budgets now have to be in place by September 30th. So the long answer, it's you essentially have July or first part of August.
So essentially, even if this fails tonight, we can revisit this issue in July and be no worse for wear.
You certainly have that availability.
Thank you.
Further comments on the motion to approve item number 9 as amended? Bob.
One thing, and I'll probably get chastised for saying this, but everyone who lives in this city and enjoys the quality of life that we have enjoyed for all these years ought to pay something to live here. And if it's an 0.8%, 0.8% to do that, I have no qualms of looking someone who is in that disadvantaged state in life and tell them they should pay something. And I would encourage you to vote yes on this amendment.
Further comments?
With respect to Councilor Knutson, there may not be a perfect time to raise a tax, but there are good times and better times and worse times, and I'm afraid this is a lousy time. At a couple levels. First of all, we talk about a $10 million package, and I've not seen the $6 million portion of it. I would strongly encourage this council to make sure that it's all viewed and voted upon at the same time. Secondly, and probably most importantly for me personally, is I simply object to having to make this decision as I'm walking out the door for the last time. I don't think it's appropriate. I believe it should be someone else's responsibility, and I would urge your no vote.
Further comments? Not all in favor of a motion to approve item 9 as amended would vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members: Kavanaugh.
No.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
Benega.
No.
Brown.
No.
Costello.
No.
Jameson.
Yes.
All members present voted 3 yes and 5 no. Item 9 has failed. Item 10.
Item 10 is the second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adding reimbursement for non-residential city water utility customers, along with adding programmable timer reimbursement procedures.
Good evening, Kevin Smith with the Office of Public Works. The proposed ordinance would do essentially 3 things. First, it would expand the existing toilet reimbursement program to include non-residential customers. Secondly, it would expand the washer reimbursement program to include non-residential customers. And third and finally, it would add a new program to offset the cost for residential and non-residential customers who choose to replace their old irrigation timers with a new style that can accommodate an odd, even system of lawn watering.
Questions of Kevin on item number 10? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval. Second, Brown.
Kavanaugh moved and Brown seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item 10, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson. All right, just a second. Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 10 has been approved. Item 11.
Item 11 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of said city by rezoning property at 6109 North Cliff Avenue and East 72nd Street North from the A1 Agricultural District to the C Commercial District.
This is an item that would be considered by a joint meeting of the Minnehaha County Commission and the Sioux Falls City Council. This property is located just north of the Sioux Falls city limits at the southwest corner of North Cliff Avenue and 72nd Street North. It's about 2.5 acres. It's currently a residential use. It is adjacent to existing commercial development, and our 2015 plan does show this as future commercial use. And so this would be considered at a joint meeting on May 19th, and the joint planning commissions have recommended approval of this rezoning.
Questions of Mike on item 11? If not, is there a motion to set the hearing date for May 19th at 5 o'clock for item number 11?
So moved, Brown.
Brown moves. There a second?
Second. Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for May 19th at 5 o'clock for item 11, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson. Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 12.
Item
Ask
12.
for a 5-minute reset.
Okay, we noted a 5-minute recess.
Chad Heavey, Office of Public Works, Engineering Division. This portion of North Bonson Avenue is a collector street and will be constructed from a gravel path to an urban section. There are 3 affected property owners in the project area. 2 of these properties will be assessed approximately 60% of the project costs. The affected property owners have no opposition to the project. The construction cost estimate is $535,000. Sidewalk will be constructed on the east side with the project and on the west side with the residential development.
Questions of Chad on item number 12? Others that wish to address the council on item number 12? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moves second.
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconds. Further comments?
Yeah, I guess I do have a question, Chad. Who are the people that are going to be paying 60% of this, or what businesses?
The first property owner is Timberline Development Company, LLC. They own the portion on the west side of the road. They are currently developing that residential development.
About how much will they be paying then, Chad?
Approximately $250,000.
Okay.
And then the large tract of land that's on the east side right there is city land. So we'll be picking up that portion of the project. And then the property north of there is owned by the Unzelman Development Corporation. They have approximately 380 foot of frontage and will be assessed approximately $80,000.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions? We've got a motion been made and seconded to approve item number 12. Seeing no further comments, all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
Benega.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 no. There we go. Item 12 has been approved. Item 13.
Item 13 is a resolution declaring the necessity to grade, gravel, construct curb and gutter with driveway approaches, construct sidewalk, storm sewer, asphalt surfacing, street lights, water main, and sanitary sewer on West Madison Street from North Marion Road to North Valley View Road, and assessing the cost to each lot or tract of land benefiting thereby.
This is one of the development-driven arterial street projects that was talked about earlier tonight. It is a gravel road that will be constructed to a 4-lane urban section. There are 8 properties included in the project area. At this time, there is 1 property that will be assessed per current ordinance. Cost estimate is $2.5 million.
Questions of Chad on item 13. Others? Go ahead, Kermit.
Yeah, just clarifying the 2.5 million. Is that the total cost of the project, or is that how much that property owner will be assessed?
That is the total cost of the project for the construction of that half-mile section.
Okay, and then that property owner that's going to be paying is going to pay how much?
They have approximately 200 feet of frontage. It's the property up there that's highlighted with letter H, and it's estimated about $25,000.
$25,000, okay.
Other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Let's
move second.
Jameson.
Who second? Jameson second?
Yes.
Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion vote yes, those opposed vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 no. Item 13 has been approved. Item 14.
Item 14 is a resolution declaring the necessity to grade gravel, construct curb and gutter with driveway approaches, construct sidewalks, storm sewer, asphalt surfacing, streetlights, water main, and sanitary sewer on West 26th Street from South Mary Beth Avenue to South Katy Avenue, and assessing the cost to each lot or tract of land benefiting thereby.
This is another development-driven arterial street project. It'll be constructed to a 4-lane urban section. There are 19 properties included in the project area. At this time, I do not expect that any of these properties will be assessed for construction costs. The low bid opened on May 2nd was $635,000.
Go ahead.
Chad, I'm going to vote for this one because I'm glad, really, the city's taking the responsibility of paying, for its own infrastructure. So it's a good one.
Others that wish to address council item number 14? Not? It's a motion.
I move for approval of item number 14. Knutson.
Second?
Second, Benega.
Benega seconds. Further comments? Not all in favor of the motion to approve item 14, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega? Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 14 has been approved 8-0. Item 15 has been withdrawn, so we'll move to 16.
Item 16 is a resolution vacating the alley from South 6th Avenue to South 7th Avenue between the East 18th Street and East 19th Street.
This unimproved alley is located northwest of Avera McKinnon's campus. A utility easement will be maintained. The Surgical Institute of South Dakota owns the block and plans to redevelop. An office building will be constructed in each corner of the block with parking on the interior of the block. This area was rezoned at the May 5th council meeting. The petitioner has complied with the right-of-way vacation policy. A neighborhood meeting was held on May 6th with 7 neighbors in attendance. There was no opposition to the right-of-way vacation. One neighbor was opposed to any type of redevelopment of this block. The petitioner is present tonight to answer any questions, and engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item 16? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Benega.
Is there a second?
Second, let's.
Let's second it. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 16 has been approved 8-0. Item 17.
Item 17 is a resolution vacating South 10th Avenue between East 23rd Street and East 24th Street, and the alley from East 22nd Street and East 23rd Street between South Cliff Avenue and South 10th Avenue.
This portion of 10th Avenue and the alley are located in the southeast corner of Avera's campus. 10th Avenue is improved and the alley is unimproved. A utility easement will be maintained. The vacated right-of-way is a part of a master plan to construct Avera's Cancer Institute. The alley will be future green space and stormwater storage. 10th Avenue and the adjoining property will be a parking lot that will replace the parking lost by the Cancer Institute building. The petitioner has complied with the majority of the city's right-of-way vacation policy. Members of the City Council and staff of the Engineering Division were not invited to the meeting. However, we did receive a copy of the meeting minutes. The neighborhood meeting was held on April 23rd with 6 neighbors in attendance. There was no opposition to the right-of-way vacation. The majority of the questions were in regards to Avera's future growth in that area and what the new building will look like. The petitioner is present tonight to answer any questions, and engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad? Others that wish to address the council, item number 17? Is there a motion to approve?
I so move. Or, Jameson did, and I'm a second.
Jameson moved, Knutson seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That motion been approved 8-0. Item 18.
Item 18 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Canterbury East Edition Petition 2007-1114.
This is the property located on the north side of Madison Street and west of Powderhouse Road, as well as the proposed future alignment of South Dakota 100. The City Council has seen this item previously through both a land use amendment and a zoning amendment. This is the development plan that shows the street layout based on the uses that you've approved, and it does meet the city requirements, and we are recommending approval of this preliminary plan.
Questions, Mike? Others that wish to address the council on item number 18? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Benega.
Benega moves, is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? All in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz? Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 18 has been approved 8-0. Item 19.
Item 19 is a resolution amending the future land use map as a part of the Sioux Falls 2015 Growth Management Plan Petition Number 2008-0222 at East Madison Street and North Powder House Road from the commercial, multifamily, and single-family residential land uses to the commercial, multifamily, and single-family residential future land uses reallocated, and adding parks and open space and office institutional land uses.
This property is located on the southwest corner of Powderhouse Road and Madison Street. The Tisdale family is the owner of this land. The entire area is about 70 acres. This amendment will deal with the north 44 acres, which is a modification of our 2015 land use plan based on further analysis of the topography, the drainage, and surrounding development. The owners have come up with a modified land use plan, which is being requested for approval tonight, that shows additional change in the boundaries of the residential, commercial, office, and future drainage way uses along the north side of this property. And we are recommending approval of this land use amendment.
Questions on Mike on item 19? Others wish to address council on item 19? Not, is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval.
Kavanaugh moved, is there a second?
Second, Benega.
Benega seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 19 has been approved 8-0. Item 20.
Item 20 is a resolution amending the future land use map as a part of the Sioux Falls 2015 Growth Management Plan Petition Number 2008-0113 at northeast corner of 6 Mile Road and East 10th Street from the single-family and multifamily residential land uses to the office, institutional, and parks and open spaces land uses.
This is about 26 acres of land, and it's on the east side of 6 Mile Road and the north side of East 10th Street. It is adjacent to the new Brandon Valley Elementary School that has been approved and will soon be under construction, or is under construction. And this land use amendment is a modification, again, to our 2015 plan. We've been working with the owner of the property, Van Busker Companies, to come up with a new land use based on the school, as well as the future street improvements that are anticipated in this area. And the Planning Commission, as well as the staff, have recommended approval of this land use amendment.
Questions of Mike on item number 20. Others wish to address the council on item 20. Is there a motion to approve?
I so move. Knutson?
Mr. Moser, is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of that motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 20 has been approved 8-0. Item 21.
Item 21 is a resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Grand Prairie Estates Edition petition 2008-0207.
This is an item that you've also seen before. Grand Prairie Estates is about 40 acres of land north of 85th Street. And this is a development plan based on the zoning that the City Council has previously approved for 12 large single-family lots surrounding a private pond. And I know Councilor Jamison has asked before, and these will be private streets serving this development. It is recommended for approval by the Planning Commission and does meet all of our subdivision requirements, and we are recommending approval.
Questions of Mike on item number 21? Others wish to address the council? Is there a motion to approve?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 21 has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Bob's going to second it.
Second. Who's second?
Jamison.
Come on, Jamison.
Okay, all in favor? We'll vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Kavanaugh?
No.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
No.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
It's got me interested now.
Jamison?
Yes.
Stand adjourned.